Alright, everybody. So, today I'm gonna. Holy shit. Yeah, I wanted to point something out. This is a big problem right here. Market breadth. I know the market went up today, but I have to be really careful on swing longs because this print right here, selling is not good. Big problem right here. So I'm gonna check out the dailies later to see if there's a daily opportunity. But when market breadth goes down, this is only 1297, but that's still bigger than the last 8 waves. Oh fuck. Um, I'm, right now I have to see the pullback, and if it's weak, it creates a springboard. It's gonna puke, and you'll see a turn in the market. So this is how you do it from the perspective of market breadth. Wyckoff did it a little bit differently. In those days, you would just see which position sheet and see which which stocks were in the position of 1, 2, 3, and 4, tally them and create some type of something called a barometer. But nowadays you can just use market breadth. Anyway, I wanted to cover something else today. All right, so when you hear that if you need to trade, trading is basically psychology and all that. So, but really practically, how is it executed in order to make money, right? So, first thing is, I'm not going to go, turn this into a psychology lecture, but it's something extremely important, and you'll see how it played out today to make, to get winners. But here's the point: there's different fears, basically FOMO, fear of loss, fear of missing out, fear of being wrong. All right, I'm going to focus on fear of loss. Fear of loss has everything to do with the stop. All right, FOMO has everything to do with the entry, and I'm just going to focus on fear of loss. And this is really important because right now it's very, very practical. 2 things you have to know. You are taught. You're taught to, number 1, keep a tight stop. 2, you're taught this thing right here. Right? This is what you're taught. Higher high, higher low equals trend. This is what you are generally taught. You're taught trend. These 2 beliefs about higher high, higher low, as well as keep a tight stop, combined with the 3rd thing, which is fear of loss. These 3 things together are the reason why, say, like I don't know what percentage, but generally a large percent of it will of your losses are due to this fear of loss combined with these 2 beliefs. Large percentage of losses has to do with fear of loss as well as these 2 beliefs of higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And I'll show how this happens. And the second thing is, cutting the winners short. So small winners and losses, increase losses, increase number of losses and small percentage winners. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, these 2 phenomenon, increase in the number of losses and in the small amount of winners, are directly the result of this fear of loss. Fear of loss is responsible for this. It's responsible for increased number of losses, and it's responsible for small percentage of winners. Remember, the fear of loss operates on the stop. As soon as you have a stop in the market, chances are you will be influenced by fear of loss. Okay, so it gets triggered as soon as a stop in the market. Now, obviously, you need a stop in the market if it moves against you, but not knowing where to put it and this and that and I'll get to that. But the point is, as soon as there's a stop in the market, you are subject to the fear of loss. As soon as there's a stop in the market, this emotion or this thought or whatever, this fear, it starts. It starts. No question about it. When you get the entry is triggered by FOMO, but I'm not going to go into FOMO. I want to focus specifically on this, and extremely important what I'm going to be explaining now, because again, you're not going to find this on YouTube. All right, it's the fear of loss is focuses on stops. It causes an increased number of losses and small percentage of winners, and it starts as soon as you enter your stop in the market. Fear of loss, you are under the influence of a fear of loss. Okay, and I'm going to show how to get over it, and that will actually result, if you get over this, you will actually increase, the idea is it should increase the number of winners, the percentage winners, and cut down on the losses as well. That's how important this thing is. This is one example of fear of loss. If you get over this hump, these four, that's what professional traders have done, whether they realize it or not in their mind, and a very few % have done this. Anyway, so where was I? So fear of loss triggered as soon as you have a stop in the market and directly responsible for increased number of losses and small percentage winners. It works with two ideas: the trend, higher high, higher low, and keeping a tight stop. These two things, along with fear of loss, cause an increased number of losses and small percentage of winners. Now I'm going to prove it. All right. So this is the ES. All right. Okay. When this thing started in the morning, there was a base up to here, and you had this candle right there. Boom. This was the I'm going up higher candle. It took out the high, I think. This is 4404. This is 4425. All right, so it took out the high. It's telling you it's going higher. There's accumulation already. There's a change of behavior. It hit a level, hit the level, went up, did the spring, reaccumulated on the spring, and bang, right there. Okay. Now, remember what I said about trend and keeping a tight stop. Once this happens and you go positive with this accumulation, where's the stop going to be? If you're operating out of fear of loss, basically fear of loss is influencing you, your stop is going to be right here, below the low, because there's a big bar. You think it's not going to come back and take out the low. It made a higher high. This is the low before the high. It's very clean. You have a nice little base here. This very little base. So what's happening now is the fear of loss is going to work with two things. One, you have a higher high, so it should make a higher low, not a lower low, because you're taught that trend is higher high and higher low. So the expectation is for a higher low. That's one. And second, you're taught about a tight stop. So right here is going to be the stop, especially after this bar. This bar is taking out 2, 3 highs. So the stop, if you're in here, your stop is going to be here. If you bought support, your stop is going to move up. The fear of loss will influence your stop behavior to come up here. Now, you might be like, you know what, let me keep it a little bit below here. A little bit below. Doesn't matter. It's going to wipe you out. You see? This was in the accumulation. This was in the accumulation. which I even know because I got the change of behavior off of the level. Like I keep saying over and over again, level, 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 level. Level comes first. Why? Because when those guys are planning their campaigns, they look at prior levels. They look at levels, and then that's of where the prior buying was, and what that's a good area, good price, you know. And so see, just tagged it exactly, tagged it, and came up. But after that, sprung it, reaccumulated, boom. Anyway, so the thought about trend, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, especially after this FOMO bar, is going to put the stop right here. So it got taken. Now look what happens after that. Bingo. See that big move? Right? But the chance of participating in it are almost zero if you're influenced by a fear of loss, along with the concept of higher high and higher low trend, and keeping a tight stop. That three together will put the stop here, and that liquidity will be grabbed, it will be taken, and you're going to miss this. That's the first thing. Second thing. All right, let's do it second time. It goes up, 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 up. You're looking for a pullback. Let's see you don't get in here because it's a big down move, and that thing goes up. So what happens now? As soon as a higher high is made, you are taught the higher low will occur. And because of that, the higher stop and all of that will put the stop here. You know, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So makes a high, makes a low, makes a high. This is actually lower high, higher low, higher high. Right? This is what you're taught. So again, those two thoughts are going to be operating. One is keeping a tight stop. The second is higher high, higher low. Stops are going to be right here. And this is because of that thing that we're taught about higher high, higher low, along with keeping the stop tight, along with fear of loss operating on your psyche. You will automatically put it there. It looks great. Green bar, green bar, green bar, breakout, nice little base, test. You know, maybe you don't put it here, there. Maybe you put it after the reversal. Maybe you say, I don't know. Okay, it pulls back, and now you have this green bar. You see this green bar? For sure, after that green thrust, outside key reversal, whatever the hell you want to call it, the stop is going to be here, and look what happens. It gets taken. You see? As soon as this higher low, higher high is made, it pulls back test, and it reverses with that big green bar. Stops will move right here, or they will move right here. For sure, stops will move right here, or they will move right here. One of these lows will have you stop. Why? Big green bar. Big green bar, outside key reversal. That's where the stops are going to go. Right below here, below here. Why? It will be put under this big green bar because keep your stops. What is it? Keep your tight stops or some shit like that. You know, keep your keep a tight stop, something like that, right? So this green bar will trigger the thought of keeping a tight stop, which will trigger the behavior of putting the stop here or here if it's not there already and you are long. What happens? Ripped right here. Big red bar, boom, boom, taken out, and now look what happens. The high is taken. Bingo. You see? And the same thing happens here. This low, higher high, where are the stops? They're here. What happens? Rip it and go higher high. You see? Every single time the stops are ripped, here, here, and here before the move. And when it goes up here, it's going to look like a rally, right? It's going to have a pullback. It's going to form a higher low because it's a high and a higher and a higher low, or some bullshit that you probably are taught called a protected low, right? Look what happens. It got ripped once, twice, 3 times. Doesn't matter. Big green candle. Does not matter. Big green candle right here. Does not matter. You know, even here, not that big, but whatever. Right? So this is what I'm trying to explain. The fear of loss, the way it works, it requires 2 thoughts. The first thought is fear, keep your stop tight, and the second one is the concept of trend, higher high, higher low. These 2 things will make sure you put your stop at a low, and that low will get ripped, will get tagged, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. So this is why you cannot trade unless you master the FOMO, and FOMO is a big one, and fear of loss, because as soon as you have a stop in the market, it's going to get taken because of the wrong education about higher high, higher low, and that other thing I talked about. This is what happens. Okay, so now what does that mean? I mean, so you're going to say, the next thing you're going to say is, where do I keep the stops then? Where do I keep the stops? We are trained to put the stops below lows and above highs. In an uptrend, we put them below lows and above highs. This is what what you're trained to do. You will put your stops below low. There's no coincidence here that both these lows were taken out. There's no coincidence that as soon as the low is taken out, it goes. There's no coincidence. There's no coincidence that this low is taken and then it goes. No coincidence at all. Right? So I want to make that clear. Now I'm going to explain from a Wyckoff perspective. I'm going to just show the diagram. Okay, first thing to notice is when Wyckoff put on a position, right? He never, ever, ever put the stop right below the low until there was a problem with the stock. Then he moved it up to the low. Like in this example, he moved it up to the low right there, because he saw a problem, because there was change of behavior with this print right here. That change of behavior right there, and the weak up rally. The up rally here has very low volume, it has 5, 6, 7, 8. Whereas the change of behavior here has 12 plus whatever this print is. So the pullback volume was very heavy and the rally volume wasn't, and then he saw a problem. And then when it was going up here, he saw very low volume and all of that, and he moved the stop right under the low. So the point here is the stop is not put under the low. That's the point. Until there's a problem. That way, when there's a problem, where either bearish change of behavior, or some weak rally, or some shortening of the thrust, or it over accelerates, or something like that, then the stop is moved. What you see here is that it's pretty away from the low. Now this characteristic of the stop, right? You can actually do it mechanically. Like you can figure out a mechanical setting and use that. So I mean, you've seen the way it looks, right? So you can use some type of, what he does is it looks like a moving average that's shifted down. So that can be done. that ensures the stop is not under the low, but below the low, and you use that as a point of risk to then identify an entry. And you see, it does not get taken. It does not get taken. Look. So, I mean, there's ways of implementing that, but I'm not going to go into all those. I'm not going to go into implementation. All I'm going to say is, you know, you can look into methods, but just be careful of putting it under lows, because lows are targeted. The high concept of higher high, higher low is, you know, I mean, look here. This is a low. This is a high. Their lows here, they got ripped. You know, so yeah. Bottom line is, you you have to work on each of the fears and all of the behaviors that come with them. Fear, FOMO, I'll go over that some other day. Fear of loss has to do with the stop and the accurate positioning of the stop. And that's all. All right, take care, bye.